All right, let's talk about Drake Maye here in the New England Patriots. Drake Maye, as of today, is currently the betting favorite to win MVP. But you know what? I'm actually going to start off this video by talking about somebody else. Don't worry, we will talk plenty about what Maye did well in this football game. But first, let's talk about Trayvon Henderson, the running back who had a couple of really nice rushes against a team that it is not easy to have good rushes against. So first, this play is fun. So this was actually on a 3rd down and 10. You see how Tampa Bay is selling as though they're going to send pressure. And you know that's what Tampa Bay likes to do on these obvious passing situations. So what is New England going to do? Well, it's an obvious passing situation. Let's not pass. Watch as Maye is going to flip the one to Henderson out wide, and for Tampa Bay, so they still do have a couple of defensive backs deep who can make a play, right? Even with this being really well blocked by New England, all you have to do for Tampa Bay is have one of these two players come up and make a tackle, and you're going to stop Henderson a couple yards short. Maybe New England tries to go for it. I don't think so, though, because they're deep in their own territory. So you know, Henderson needs to make a play essentially for this to work, but that's going to be exactly what he's able to do. Breaks a tackle, nearly broke another one. Could have had a lot more yards on that play, but moves the sticks pretty quickly. So impressive stuff there by Henderson. Also, this one later on in the game, this was, New England was down, but they scored a touchdown right as the clock expired in the first half, and now here early on in the second half, Maye is going to take the snap, and this is just really well blocked by New England. Again, clear hole for Henderson to run through, and you look at the safety. The safety was shaded so far over to the offense's left. It's Antoine Winfield, a good safety, but since he's so far over to the left, he's going to have a lot of room he has to make up. And this is just a speed thing. Watch Henderson just going to win this foot race. I mean, it's a tough guy to win a foot race against. And Henderson, shows why he's able to get into the end zone, get the long touchdown there. His impact was certainly felt. I think he's earned himself some more playing time with some of these plays, even if he'll make the mistake occasionally as well. So let's head over to this play, because you notice Maye's stats. He had just barely over 50% completion percentage, even if he had a ton of yards per attempt in this game. Tampa Bay definitely was covering well, and New England was kind of struggling at times offensively. We saw them maybe not have the highest hit rate that they've had compared to other games. So this one, it's a zone coverage concept. Drake Maye takes a snap. He looks down the field and doesn't love what he sees. And this is, it's just an issue. No quarterback looks good if there's no one to throw the football to, right? So Maye's going to look down the field, doesn't love what he sees. Well, now what do you do? Well, he's going to try and scramble out, but a defensive tackle comes in and makes a tackle. Even if he wasn't there, this was 3rd and 10, there were going to be other Tampa Bay players to make the play. Essentially, I think that there were too many of these obvious passing situations, and Tampa Bay was able to cover on these. Again, I know Trayvon Henderson ends the day with over 10 yards per carry, but it was a couple of really nice runs that really helped that work. I think on a play-by-play basis, they weren't doing a great job of setting up 3rd and 6s or 3rd and 3s, and instead it was 3rd and 10s too often. However, things definitely turned on this one for New England. This is a Kyle Williams play, who was someone I really liked coming out of college and was excited to see what he would do in this offense. They haven't used him a ton. Maybe they want to just kind of let the rookies kind of slowly get into the system. But here, one-on-one matchup against another rookie, Benjamin Morrison for Tampa Bay. So Maye's going to take the snap, and a couple of things to note. For one thing, Maye's about to get clobbered right here. I mean, you're thinking, if you're a New England fan, well, at this point, you just trust Maye. But if you are someone who's watching this game for the watching Drake Maye play for the first time, you're thinking, okay, this could be trouble if he's getting hit as he's thrown. You see that he does get hit as he's thrown, and there's a tight window. I mean, is this going to be an interception? What's going to happen here? Well, no, it's a beautifully thrown football. Kyle Williams makes the catch, and the safety was also on this play all the way over to the offense's left. He's not able to get in position. Williams gets into the end zone for a touchdown. His only catch of the day is a 72-yard touchdown, and that was just such an impressive play from Drake Maye. And going over to a play like this, to me, this is even more impressive from Maye than the downfield passing, which, those are all impressive. That's cool that he can do that stuff. But to me, something like this is just crazy that a player of his age can do this, where it's going to be so you look at the player who I've circled for New England. Tampa Bay is selling a blitz, and so who do you expect to cover the player who I have circled? Well, logically, you would expect the guy who is on him, right? That's what you would, guy right up right in front of him. But that's not what's going to happen. That defender will run in to rush the quarterback. This is that Todd Bowles thing, right? If he's constantly doing things to confuse the opposing quarterback, you have, the player lined up against a receiver, he'll rush in, but of course that means someone still has to cover that receiver, and it's going to be a defensive lineman who's going to drop back and try to make this play work. Again, 3rd down and 7 right here. This is a big play in the football game with Tampa Bay currently up 3 points with 2.5 minutes left in the half. So Maye takes a snap, and the first part totally worked. I mean, Tampa Bay gets defenders right into Drake Maye's face, but here's just what Drake Maye is capable of doing. No panic. He flips it right to where you had a edge rusher in coverage against the receiver, Demario Douglas. Well, Douglas is going to win that matchup every time, and he wins it right there. It's just good stuff by Drake Maye. And to be honest, I thought New England did a lot of little things to help themselves gain advantages. This one was another one where this is, huge play. So they purposely don't score on 1st down and goal to try and kill some clock, and then ultimately, I think they wanted to score on 2nd down or 3rd down, ends up here in 4th down, so they're having to make sure to at least get some points on this possession. You see, so that's Stephon Diggs, and this is a little thing that they're going to do that is incredibly smart, where watch what happens. Stephon Diggs is out wide, but then he's going to go in motion to be essentially go towards the inside of where Hunter Henry is. Well, why are you doing that? Well, the reason is for Tampa Bay, it's a tight end and a receiver, so Tampa Bay has their number 1 corner and a safety out wide. And what you want if you're New England is instead of having the corner covering Diggs, you want the safety covering Diggs. So in doing this, essentially Tampa Bay's going to switch defenders, and when Maye takes the snap, now you have Antoine Winfield, who's a good coverage safety, but he still is a safety going up against Stephon Diggs, New England's number 1 wide receiver. Now, that being said, like I said, Winfield's a pretty good cover safety. I mean, this still isn't a wide open play or anything like that. Maye's going to have to make a tough throw, and Diggs is going to have to make a tough catch. But watch, both of them do exactly that. They get into the end zone, and that was, again, a huge play in a game that ultimately was a 5-point lead. Yes, Tampa Bay scored a garbage time touchdown, but the Patriots kind of did as well. So it was, that was a huge play in the game. It's a different game if Tampa Bay ends up only down 4 after that long Trayvon Henderson touchdown in the 3rd quarter instead of down 11. Now, let's talk about the biggest mistake of the game for Maye. Definitely one we have to bring up. Again, so much of this was positive, but on 3rd and goal, New England is up 5, and I think when you're up 5, you don't think about those 3 points that you can add too much, but you absolutely should, because those 3 points are still very important. Going up 8 is a big deal. It means that worst case scenario, the opposing team can only tie it. It also means they have to hit a 2-point conversion to tie it. So it's a big deal. Maye's going to take the snap, and it's Tyke Smith who is covering tight end Hunter Henry. This isn't even where Maye wants to go with the football. There's another route further down, kind of in the back of the end zone, that's also going in that direction. And I think Maye's not even really thinking about this situation, but it's so congested here. Drake Maye's the kind of guy, he's going to take a chance. This time it doesn't work out. It gets intercepted. Again, just not what you want to have happen there. Obviously, you want the touchdown and ice the game. If we're being honest, you probably go for it on 4th down, but that still helps you because of field position. Now Tampa Bay gets the ball at the 20. They were able to drive relatively far, get inside the 35 before getting stopped short. But ultimately, one mistake does not negate all of the good stuff that we saw from New England. And the New England Patriots currently find themselves as 8-2 on the season. They're still in a 3-way tie for the 1 seed with the Broncos and the Colts. It's just impressive stuff. But that's what I think. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.